Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 9 of Fireside Chat with Craig from GameGlass. Only reason I know it's number 9 is because I have to update the titles every week. But that's fine. That's okay. Still getting used to this streaming thing. You'd think after 9 weeks I would be used to it, but I'm not. Okay, big week. Big week. How these work is every Friday at 6:30 p.m. EST. I hop on stream. I talk about what we accomplished during the week. I answer any outstanding questions that might be beneficial for the community. And then once I'm done being annoying, we all hop into Discord. And we have an event that runs every week called the Fireside Chat. And you can just hop in. You can just listen. That's totally cool. You don't have to go on video. You don't have to talk. Nothing. No pressure. And we'll just hang out. And we'll talk games and tech and anything you could possibly imagine, because it's the end of the week. And it's nice to unwind a little bit. Okay. This week was a big week for us here at GameGlass, as you could possibly imagine. It was also a very stressful week at GameGlass. We had a few things on the go. If you weren't aware, we did our launch this week. So on Thursday, March 27th, it's hard for me to keep track right now because of how little sleep I've had this week. We launched very early in the morning. I think for me it was about 2 in the morning. And yeah, everything actually went rather smoothly. We did launch a few hours later than we would have liked to, but you know how these things go. That's just how it is all the time. But we're pretty happy with how everything went in general. It was a long journey. And we kept this partnership with Overwolf hidden away and tucked away for, I think, about 8 or 10 months or something like that. And we'll talk about that a little bit as well, but there was a lot more that we released. So it wasn't just we partnered with Overwolf, but we released a brand new hub application, desktop software, that is a lot more fleshed out and a lot more of what we're looking for when it comes to accomplishing our goals and vision. It is faster. It's completely rebuilt and refactored from the ground up using a different framework. It's using Electron now instead of NWJS. We have added a whole ton of new features to it. So when it comes to sign up, when it comes to sign in, all of those mechanisms now have it has a proper flow, basically. The jankiness between the website, I'm going to use that word as a professional word, jankiness, from the website, and then going back and forth from the website to the application to add your shards was not a great way of doing things. So we fixed that. And now everything is done within the application, the desktop application we're dubbing the Hub. And everything happens in there now. So when you download the Hub, you can create an account, you can sign up, sign in, you go through the flow, you can find new shards to add to your library, you can manage your current shards that you have, and then we've got a whole ton of additional features that we're planning for it as well. It's going to be an exciting next few months too. As exciting as this release was, I'm really looking forward to the stuff that we're going to be able to do now that we have this in place, because prior to this, everything was scattered. This is truly a foundational shift for us at GameGlass. It's very exciting. So, that being said, we launched, we released a new website. I would love to get that homepage done, but for now, it's just going to link over to the information on the event, because that's really what we're talking about this week. It's got pretty much everything else ready to go on it. If you're curious, go check it out, GameGlass.gg. Um, and what else should I talk about? Updates we've got loads of new partners on board that we're working with. They're going to be hanging out in the Fireside chat. I already saw a few friendly faces. I'm waiting in there. So that'll be nice. And yeah, so everything's gone pretty smoothly so far. It's a very exciting time for us, and we're really happy with the turnout for the event and how everybody's come together, and the feedback we've gotten has been absolutely fantastic. So thank you everybody for turning up and tuning in, because it's been a journey, and we're just really proud of what we were able to deliver and the complexity of it. And to be honest, we just like to solve hard problems, and by getting the hub out there and switching the foundations of GameGlass, we're going to be able to make that a reality sooner than later. A lot of the things that were holding us back, so legacy software that was, not up to where we wanted it to be, and the website with Shopify as a platform was not the way to do things. So by controlling everything now, we have the ability to really expand quickly. So it's very exciting. I'm going to go over a few questions that I saw, and I'm not going to go over all the detail in it like I did in the post, but if you are curious, we do have a Reddit page, reddit.r/GameGlass. And while it doesn't have as much visibility as our other channels, it is easier to give long-form answers there. So if you do want to have a long-form discussion about something, then that's probably a good place to do it. But some of the things that came out this week were... this is a good one. So one of the concerns was that the new elements that went into the hub, and there was over 100 components. The post says elements, but we call them components. There was over 100 components that went into the hub this week, and a lot of them do not have the ability to modify colors and additional attributes like we previously did in our other components. And that was a strategic decision, because the fact is we could have done a couple maybe for each shard. If we did it the traditional way, where we're building the components out and we're exposing what attributes should be modifiable and then testing them and then allowing theming for them, making sure they look good, hooking them up with code, all that stuff. But by using raster format graphics or vectors, it's either or. I think there's a bunch of SVGs in there as well. We really are able to speed up that process. And our thinking is that we would rather provide more components to play around with and use than only a few high quality ones that you can change colors with. That being said, I'm not saying that we're not going to be doing that. It's just we're a team of 4 full-timers. So it's really challenging to make sure that we can do that as well. We have a lot of different products to look after, and the fact is building components it's a time-consuming process. We have a lot of ideas of how we want to improve that pipeline in the future, and some very exciting ones too. I don't really want to talk about that in the Fireside chat here. We'll talk about that another day. But we wanted to get more out than less. That's the gist of it. There was some issues with account sign up on launch, but those are all fixed up now. Let's see. Oh, a good question is about keybinds and automatically detecting keybinds from games. This is a lengthier discussion. I'll give the summary of this. I've mentioned it a few times in Discord before, but basically we're looking to have a more universal way of accomplishing that. Instead of just solving it for 1 or 2 games, we want to try to solve it the right way and the scalable way for all games. And how that looks is what we call keybind abstraction. And essentially what it means is instead of having a keybind, which would be, let's say, Control L for your landing gear, instead we want to implement the action, not the keybind. So Control L is the keybind. The action it performs is landing gear. So what we want to do is we want to abstract away the keybind part of it. So as a user, how that looks is you would go into GameGlass, you would choose the game that you're either building for or want to integrate your shards with. You'd set up your keybinds, and there's a bunch of different ways of doing that. We can automatically detect them. We can keep them in sync. I've got a prototype of a solution using AI to generate all the missing keybinds based on modifiers and a bunch of other things that you don't have currently in your file. But every game is different. That's the thing. So Star Citizen's keybinds are different from Elite Dangerous's keybinds. They're different from, Helldiver's keybinds, which are different from every other set of keybinds. And the thing is that even with a keybind file in Star Citizen, an official one, making sure that that's kept up to date and making sure that the folks over at CIG are able to implement those changes as well, I mean, they're busy, is sometimes challenging. So how do we fix the problem on a more scalable level? So you'll set them up for the game, and what that means is that any shard for that game should work out of the box for you, because you're using actions and you're not using keybinds. So somebody might have set up their keybind for Star Citizen for landing gear as Control-Alt-Q, I don't know, and you have it as Control-L, but the fact is it's still landing gear. So when you're setting up your shard, that's the action it performs. That's the action it will perform for you both, no matter your keybind. So we want to not only do that, but we also want to open source the actions part of it for the community, because what's really important here is that the community involvement when it comes to managing actions for games, especially obscure games, is critical to make it a functioning way of doing it. So if obscure game, Satisfactory, which it's not that obscure, but anyways, if they add a bunch of updates and add new keybinds, we're not going to know about it unless somebody tells us. So having the community be able to just do a pull request into a repo that has a defined schema on it, and saying that there's these new actions, they can be added into GameGlass very easily, and that way everything can be kept up to date very easily. And the community, based on what their interests are able to contribute to that, which is perfect. So that is a keybind abstraction. That is one of the things that are higher on our list for sure, because it solves a lot of other problems too. And we've looked at all kinds of additional things like implementing virtual HIDs and virtual joystick drivers, basically, so you can use buttons and you can use axes and all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, and then there was a couple in Discord that I was going to answer real quick, and then we're going to hop over to the fun part. I promise. All right. Oh, I do want to point out a quick few things, actually. So right now, the only way you can purchase a lifetime pass is by downloading GameGlass off the new site, so gameglass.gg/download, and then logging in with your account and doing it there. That was purely a restriction of time. It will be something that will be available on the website itself very soon. I would imagine within the next couple days. So if you're interested in doing that, that'll be a possibility as well. It's meant a lot of extra sleepless nights, but it's definitely worth it. So when it comes to devices to use for GameGlass and what the best ones are, I think the best way of answering this, because there's a lot of answers on Discord on this already, and I've done a video on our YouTube channel comparing some of them, but the thing is they're not up to date anymore. So what I'm going to do is in the hub, we're eventually going to have a section for this as part of the community where folks can go and talk about the devices that they use and suggest different devices, and it'll just be an easy way for anybody to go in and say, hey, what are the best devices, and then they'll be able to see them, see reviews on them specifically for this use case and all kinds of things. So there's lots of little things like that we want to add to the community as well. I'm just going to check for more here. No, Lifetime Pass is not staying. It is not staying, no. What I'm just elaborating on here is that some people don't necessarily want to do all of this in the software itself. Account management should be something that is a lot easier to do and not require software to do it. In the sake of time, though, we didn't really have a choice. So while we're building what we're calling our web portal, we just didn't have time to get that done as part of the release. But it will be there. So things like account management, changing your email address, changing your profile picture, changing your password, looking at your invoices, managing your subscriptions, all that stuff should be available on the web. And it will be very soon, with some extra surprises too. That's for another day. As far as Lifetime goes, so the response has been great so far. I don't have the words to show how much it means to all of us that the community is so behind what we're trying to accomplish here. And we haven't even released our vision and mission page, which is the crux of all of this. It aligns with a lot of the stuff that's on the current community event page, but we have a lot to share. I'll put it that way. And on top of that, so Lifetime. So we've had a lot of people from Europe mention that there's no PayPal option or additional options for them to be able to pick up a Lifetime Pass. And all I can say is that we were fully prepared to enable every single method of payment possible for everybody to be able to get in. The thing is that Stripe and PayPal are competitors. And after talking to Stripe last night about this, even though you can pay in your local currency, apparently we're not allowed to do cross-border transactions. So a good example of this is Klarna. And with Klarna, you can purchase using US in Klarna, but you have to have a US address. And then when you choose your local currency for Europe, the Klarna option disappears, which was a big concern for us because that's not what our intention was. We were under the assumption that with local currency conversion and all of the payment methods we enabled, it wouldn't be a problem. So we will be working on a fix for this, and we will make it right one way or another for anybody that is running into that issue. It's a really challenging one. Basically, we would have to open a company in Europe in order for this problem to go away. And that's not really feasible in the next week. So definitely top of mind, and we're thinking about you. So stay tuned, and we'll have an update on that at some point later. All right, let's see if there is any other questions before we dive into the chat. GameGlass is going global. I am a European citizen, so it would be a lot easier for us to open a company in Europe. And for some reason, that's very strange. For some reason, none of my chats connected in Restream. That's not good. That's not good at all. And of course I cannot see it there. I'm going to just try refreshing this. Hopefully that works. And hopefully it'll update with actual chats. No, of course it doesn't work now. That's not great. That's not great at all. If you have posted in chat in any of our channels, please join us in Discord so you can ask your question again, because for some reason I didn't get any of them, and I'm not sure why, and I do apologize for that. We're going to blame Restream on this one, because I really don't know why it wouldn't be showing them. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to hop in now to the Fireside chat in Discord. What that means is hop on over to GameGlass.g... don't do that. Don't do that. Let me try that again. Hop on over to discord.gg/GameGlass and join the Fireside chat channel. You will see us in there. You can ask anything you want, hang out, have a beer. It's Friday. It was release week. It was my birthday on launch day. Come celebrate. See you next week.